Hi, I'm Les Carlsen, and this is Fred Lynch from P.I.D. Of course, this is the first show. Here we go.
Rewind!
Mixture of funk and truth, truth and funk combined until you get a truckload of good times. Provided funk attack incorporated lyrics freshly laid. So it's not yet been rated, but don't you wear it out. Cause my flow is respectable and easy to swallow. Follow rhymes and rhymes and take you there like Mavis. Hey, it's just a sample of some greatness. When I pray for example and I trample on my troubles on the timberless. Yes, a champion more than a conqueror. Pulling up for work than a Oprah and Willy Wonka. So come join in. What are you waiting for? The groove is warm. Born with the gifts of your white. Go on and on at the playground. And violence all around me, but I'm covered by my brothers and others of another nature, so my state is great. I see the sinner say, thank you, Jesus, all I need is always giving, so I'm living like a big and yes, the large one, stomping in like Godson. You need some relief, I got some, lots and lots, so come on, because it's time to get live. Get live. Get live.
Yo, Madhead's in the place, telling me what you need, dope rhymes and ready supply. I'm smoking up like weed, word it in bills as I flip script, chill. Let's get a grip, chip. I know that you are on the tip. Come with the fatness, no sleep, stay wide awake. The intimate inflates my beats from the streets and jeeps. They congregate, lyrics I orate. And when I'm finished, I break out like an inmate. So round sound pounds, preachers packing them in the rap. And get loving this like log heads not in unison. Who else can get with this? K-Mac with the technique, even as I speak, he cut slices, dices the wax like a ginsu. The crowd gets into yo, ride the noise, cause the spirit is the venue. Then you having to give it up for the righteous. 1, 2, 1, 2, mic check. Brothers, now you know we flows with the hype set. Flipping up the styles I was told to move the crowd. When I'm out the aisles, the prize is time to get live.
We always shorty on the set, ready to wreck with my knuckles down the bed. Red locks all on my neck and my pants got the sagging. I don't sport a color rack, but I got a gang of brothers and we're bad, bad, bad. 7.5 ounce to make the humps bounce, coming from the dome to attack the metronome with flavor. And I got the crazy wild behavior when I give the glory to my savior. Arm, leg, arm, head. That's the gospel that we gave you. I'm coming like a man that possess style, mad style. Time to rip the open mic, open just for fun and no blunts, stunts, and no front. Effects on my boat so I won't strain nothing. Props to the hard rocks, fly rappers and that is jobs. The kids that are true to the game, yeah you know the name. Coming with the ill, back rhymes and tear the roof off the frame. Raise the level of a rhyme, why? Cause it's time to get live.
All right, well, that was Time to Get Live with P.I.D. and
Get live!
yeah, that's
Yeah.
rap.
That's what's rap.
That's
That's
the
what's
real
up.
thing.
That's rap.
That's the
That's
real
rap.
thing. I'm so
That's
glad.
that old school, baby.
I am so glad you are here as the old school representative.
Les,
of
I'm glad
rap.
to be here, man. It's fun. This is great.
Oh man, you got some kids to educate to the old
Oh yeah,
old rap.
yeah. We had
And
some
you
good
can do
stuff.
it. You
And
can do
it's-
it, brother.
It's cool stuff that's happening today. I don't disparage it, and nothing like that. Now some of the stuff I'll look at and probably just like folks looked at us and said that's not real music, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's some cool stuff that's happening, and most of those that are really taking it forward are those that do have their roots in what was.
Well,
So
let me
it's really
say, the deeper the roots, the taller the tree.
Woo!
And you guys were
the
the
sweeter the
roots.
fruit.
Bam. But anyway, welcome again to another amazing Frontline Records Rewind show. I'm Les Carlsen, and I'm here with Fred Lynch from P.I.D. And what does that stand for, Fred?
Preachas in disguise, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, yes indeed.
And we are so fired up. Dude, you got a smile. I wish the whole world could see that.
Well,
And
thank you, man.
I know you told me you got it from your mom
I
and
got
dad.
it from my mama and my daddy.
and
yeah.
that's only right.
You know what's funny? Talking about hip hop, and I was hanging out with what I guess you would call an industry head way back in the day. This was a
Yeah.
guy. Actually, I don't know if some folks would know it. I'll go and give give a shout out to him, Alan Weed, who was a part of the whole, what was that they did, where they would do discipleship through music, and they would send the music out to different youth groups and all of that. So he was over that, and I'm trying to remember the name of the program. Well, anyway, Alan Weed was hanging with me, and we were laughing one day, and he said, I know one reason why you guys could have sold a lot more, but you didn't. And we did fairly well. I mean, we did about 150,000 albums. Now, Adele's here. She probably say, I could tell you exactly what you did, But in my mind, we did about 150,000, all the albums we sold.
But that's reaching 150,000 people,
So he said, man, you guys could have sold a lot more albums. And I was like, well, how do you think so? He said, if you would have smiled on your albums. Why didn't you ever smile? He said, you got a beautiful smile. Why didn't you ever smile on it? I was like, Alan, it's hip hop, man. In the 80s and 90s, nobody smiled on their hip hop album. That would have just been like a straight mark. You're smiling, happy black man. I had to be.
I don't see any pain there.
Here's the deal. Is that, and this is what I've come to, is that what that ice grill, that's what we call it, that ice grill, you just looking hard, what that was about was saying, I'm serious about my art, I'm serious about society, I'm serious about what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at like the old preachers of like 80, 90 years ago, none of them smiled either. They looked the same way, like they were mad. I got the Bible, I'm holding the word of God, I'm mad. That's what they look like. I mean, all the great ministers, but it was where they were saying, I'm serious about what I'm doing. I'm serious about my calling. And I think that was the phase that hip hop was in at that time. It wasn't until like DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, when Will Smith came on the scene, I'm the rapper, he's the DJ, and he smiled, he broke the whole barrier. But Alan Weed was like, man, if you guys would have smiled, you're in the Christian industry, in the Christian world. It's mostly, white moms that's buying your album and you looking all hard. They're not wanting to buy your album. But our whole deal was like, we wanted to be true to the streets, and that was our target and who we were about connecting to. And so that was how we did it. But now I don't have a problem smiling because I'm 49 years old.
Well,
and I know who I am.
Fred, it's the same thing. I was, in Bloodgood.
Yeah.
And we looked like Motley Crue. I mean,
You
like
guys look horde.
Rockers, secular rock band. You could imagine.
I remember.
And the Christians had a rough time with that, but that's what made us believable. So that when we came in and sang about Jesus with heavy metal, in your face kind of stuff, looking like the real guys in the world, it made sense. And so it's like the same thing.
It's the same thing.
You had to come in believable.
Yeah.
And preach the truth.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in embodying the culture that you are out to connect with.
Yes.
You connect with that culture by embodying them. To me, it's the whole concept of incarnation. And the word became flesh and it dwelt among us. Jesus, I love how it says in the Message, the word put on flesh and moved into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was just like everybody else in the neighborhood. And that's the beauty to me of the whole gospel, is that whatever culture you're from, the gospel can embody that culture and show the goodness of that culture and bring it out, whether it's Bloodgood, whether it's P.I.D, whether it's trap music, whether it's, rockabilly, whatever the case is, it's just saying, look, this is culture and God so loves this culture that he will embody himself in the face of that culture just to connect with that culture.
What a great example he was to us.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
Hudson Taylor, the missionary that went to China, went there in a suit, doing looking very Western and everything, and reached no one.
Exactly.
He began to assimilate into their culture, and he was extremely successful
Yes,
after
he
that.
was.
So, the word became flesh
That's it.
to reach us.
I did that in a rhyme. I said, and the word became flesh and manifested in our midst, and we beheld him at his best, and now a style that none could counterfeit. And we knew that God had come down like Father, like Son now, true from beginning to end, good from the inside out. And to me, that's a translation of what the word did. He was true from the inside out. He was just like Father, just like Son. If you really want to know what God is like, look at Jesus.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
So, how did you come to know the people at Frontline Records?
Oh my gosh. Ooh, let's take it way back, man. Okay.
In the beginning.
Let me take it back. Okay, we did back in 87, I want to say 88, 87. We did a show at Cornerstone Festival. Way back in the day where
In
it was
Chicago?
just in Chicago, right outside of Chicago, the whole Cornerstone Fest. And we rocked the show, and the prize was to win a record deal. And that was with Caesar Kalinowski. Shout out to my
I
man.
know
We used
Caesar.
to call him Sneezer.
Sneezer.
Sneezer. Caesar's cool brother. He's
Shout out to
actually
you, Caesar.
big shouts to Caesar. Caesar Kalinowski is up in Seattle now. He's a pastor with big handlebar mustache. He's the only handlebar mustache pastor I know.
Wow.
Dude is cool in the mug, right? And so he owned a record label that had mostly hardcore rock and roll on it. So it had, the whole
I
deal.
sang a Metal Praise album at
Yeah,
Caesar's
yes.
studio. Yes.
Did you? Okay,
Sang
so
on that.
so
Yeah.
so that was the prize, is to get that record deal. Okay, so yeah, Caesar Kalinowski, he had a record label called Graceland, which to us was funny because it sounded like Elvis or something. We was like, why we want to be on? Yeah, But anyway, that was Caesar. Caesar is, he's the man. He's a cool dude. We were the only hip hop group that year, and we were on the talent show. So we did the talent show. We felt that we won. Man, we went and bought our British Knights. We had the big fat gold chains. We had the turntables. And so it was hard to actually rock with turntables, because when you getting into it and you want to jump and we would hit the stage like rhinos, man. We just go in, and you have to be careful because you make the record skip, So we were doing our thing, rocked it, felt great. The crowd went nuts, but we didn't win. To us, the crowd was like, oh, they were great because it was novelty, it was hip hop, but these were mostly metalheads.
Yeah.
So a metal group won, and it was just like a movie. I mean, we were teenagers. We were 16, 17 years old. Like, we won that, man. Bump these fools. We won that, we were all emotionally jacked up.
Bump these fools.
Bump these fools. We won that. I don't care about what they said. Forget Chicago, man. Hip hop. This is how we were.
Yeah.
And Caesar Kalinowski came backstage and he said, look, guys, you got second place, but I want to let you know you got second place because most of the crowd, they like metal here, but you guys won my heart. I want to sign you. Awesome. And so that's how we got on Graceland Records was the label that we were on, that we got signed to. Yeah. Frontline Records ended up buying their record label. So the first time I met Jimmy Kempner, who was the owner of Frontline Records, Jimmy Kempner came in the store, and I didn't realize this dude was a millionaire. He came in the office, jumped up on a chair, and started dancing. And I'm like, what's this white man jumping up on this chair dancing for? He was like, I love you guys. I've been listening to your tape. I've been listening, because back then it was tapes. You see.
Yeah.
He was like, I've been listening to your tape cassette over and over and over again. And he jumped over the wheels. And so we just kicked it off, man. And hearing his whole heart of wanting to reach culture, what that was about. My whole background was that I was raised by a person that's an evangelist and taught me to evangelize. And so, at 14 years old, I was a kid knocking on the door with a big family-sized Bible, asking people, can I pray for you? That was my beginning of what P.I.D. was all about for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's how. Wow, I never knew Jimmy danced like that.
Jimmy,
Especially
it
on
really
a chair.
wasn't. Let's tell you, it really wasn't a pretty dance.
Yeah, it was. It was a little bit.
It was
on the front and the back of the beat.
I was like, "What is this?"
But his heart was right.
His heart was right in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was how we connected with Frontline Records, and was so excited. We were in our teens early. By then, I was about 19 years old, to get a record deal and to represent hip hop. For God.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was world
Miraculous.
Man. That was miraculous.
God in your life, doing things.
Yeah, doing stuff, man. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that's the upside.
Yeah, it is.
What's the downside? What came along which really isn't a downside,
Sure.
as we've discussed.
Yeah.
Because the downside is where we learn all this stuff.
Right.
So
The downside, I would say, was the life. So I'm 19, and I'm trying to learn how to live life. I remember at 17, 18, I just finished doing a rhyme that somebody asked me to do a compilation on, and I go back to 1985. Okay, and I'm gonna see if I talk about 1985 was the summer, and that I remember. It says, now come on, I'm gonna take you to the dawning of the saga when the genre was inaugurated. Hip hop had me fascinated, locked me hypnotically. Chanting the mantras was more than a fashion statement. And so I remember that kid that I was at 15, 16 years old in the summer, and I put in the rhyme. I love this part. I said, beatboxing into a Panasonic, dubbing the cassette so I can rap on top of it, my very own hip hop starter kit. And so what I did is I got two little, if you guys remember those old black cassette players, like the one that you could hold in your hand, I got two of them, and I beatboxed on one. So I recorded myself beatboxing, and then I played it and recorded myself rapping to myself beatboxing. It was my own hip hop starter kit.
perfect.
I did it at 16 years old. And of course, it was an old school rhyme, man. This was back in the 80s. So the rhyme was, come one, come all to the best story ever told before. It's about a man called Jesus Christ, the one who came to give his life. You know, you have to raise it up. You know, Curtis Blow style, the one who came to give his life. and I remember at 15, 16, writing that, doing all of that work because I didn't have nothing to do. I was bored. It was summer. I didn't have school. And I did it, and I listened to myself rap, and I laughed, and I said, oh, that was fun. And I just put the tape down. Never knowing that 3 years later, I'd be in a studio actually doing it.
Wow.
You
The
know?
title of that song was?
Oh, I didn't even put a title to it. It was just, you know, it was old school Curtis Blow rhymes that.
Did it ever get recorded?
No, never got recorded. It was something to do.
I was seeing that
It was
as a great segment into the song. But it never got recorded.
I never did record it.
Maybe you're going to have to record it now.
Really. I just go back and just get some old school beats
and
just
get those cassette recorders. Dude.
Yeah. So I remember doing that, and I remember probably maybe a year after that, I went to Bible school at 16 years old. And I remember being in Bible school after my first year, and I remember walking. I used to have this spot. It was in the parking lot in the very, very back of the Bible school, over by the track, and that was my place of prayer. And I remember walking that place and thinking about rap and hip hop. Our Bible school was in the hood in Dallas, Texas, in Oak Cliff. It was Christ for the Nations Institute. And I remember walking, and you'd hear people riding with their, beats going up. Back then it was kind of like, Houdini, friends, boom, boom, boom. How many of us have them? You hearing the friends going, and this doom, scott, doom, da doom, God, and I'm listening to that while I'm praying and saying, God, somebody, and I remember saying this, God, somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to do something that uses the word and glorifies you.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like the Holy Spirit said, yep, somebody needs to do it. So why don't you do it?
Yeah.
And so when you say the downside, I'll say this. The call along with growing up in life. And I know this because now, the whole concept of us preachers in disguise, I really am a preacher. Mm-hmm. I know that I was called to be a communicator.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take the expressions of my culture and use it to do what I'm ultimately called to do, and that's to communicate.
Yeah.
So that's why I got into hip hop and got into rap. I know preachers today that are great on stage, but they are terrible to live with because they don't know how to live. They don't know life. They don't know people. And people, the most important thing in creation. We're the crown of creation, before God stopped it all. and put it into loop mode. See, Sabbath was loop mode, where he's like, that's enough, put it into a loop and it'll start all over again, right? So before he went into loop mode, he made us, the crown of creation. And so people, relationships are the most important thing on the planet. And so many of us, especially in the Christian world, we fail at relationships. And so when you say downsides, I see my whole career with P.I.D. I see some successes. I also see some failures that we had with relationships. Learning how to get along with each other's groups, learning how to get along. I know so many that came from that first era of hip hop. Many of them, had failed relationships in terms of from marriage to their children and so on and so forth. And, so many of us all are touched by that. And now I don't necessarily, I look at that and realize that what it really was opportunities to learn.
Yeah.
So not necessarily just failure in relationships, but it's really like this, you're going to get this lesson over and over again. You might get married once or twice until you learn the lesson of knowing how to live for somebody and love somebody. And so those were some of the downsides. I started out as a group with my best friend, and we ended up not becoming best friends anymore, because of whether it was money and, trust and knowing how to get along and share ideas and all of that. And then, I still, at the same time, I have one guy that's still a part of the group that is my actual best friend. He came and he took the place of the other lyrical guy, Barry G. Big shout out to Barry G. He's an amazing dude, amazing man. He was in my youth group. He was about a year and a half younger than me, and I was supposedly the youth pastor at 17. Now, that's what happens when you have an inner city church. Is that you got to do what you got to do. So I was a youth pastor at about 7 to 18 years old, pastoring these kids, that are 13 to 18 themselves. And that's where we started our group P.I.D. from.
Yeah.
And so we started out as best friends, and somewhere along the line, we forgot how to be friends.
Well, when I say the downside, the way that we interpreted it was it seemed like everything that we did out there on the road, the Bloodgood would go out and preach the gospel, and it would seem as if the enemy, our adversary, was after us on every level,
turn.
every turn. And so it sounds like maybe he was doing the same to you, because when you're out preaching the gospel, he hates you.
Yes.
Now you're being vocal.
Yeah.
And I need to.
Yeah.
And God will take whatever he does and take what was meant for evil, turn it to good again. But that was my question.
That was your
kind of
question.
based on
Yeah. What was some of the hard days,
what
hard
happened? Because now
nights?
you signed a record deal and all that.
Yeah.
But then what happened? Because now you're preaching the gospel.
Sure.
What did the enemy do?
So we signed the record deal. We come. One of our first event deals that we did with Frontline was we were connecting with Josh McDowell.
Oh yeah.
At this time,
More
way
than
back
a
in the day,
carpenter.
more than a carpenter.
Yeah.
Josh is one of my mentors. He mentored me for about over a decade, and he's
one of
still
the
my
reasons-
heroes.
He's one of the reasons
Yeah.
that I got saved.
Is that right?
Yeah, I read
I
his
believe
book.
that. Big shouts to Josh.
Yeah.
Jocelyn.
Thank you, Josh.
Josh McDowell.
Yeah.
Much love to him. We did our stuff, and that was like in '89 or so. When we got signed with Frontline. Frontline connected us again with Josh McDowell, and we did the whole the song "Current Affair." We did "Current Affair." When you say you love me, it doesn't matter. This melody explicitly is out to be everybody's tale with moral, oral, especially with sassy sample sounding bass. The whole song is about this girl that gets into this affair, sex. It's about premarital sex and about the lows and the highs, the good and bad. And so we're taking a lot of Josh's information and just putting the apologetic into hip hop. That's what we was doing. And so that we did a little video with it. And so Frontline flew us out and we did the video. And I mean, 19-year-old kids from the hood, from Dallas, Texas. We're riding in a white limousine and we were just like, man, what is this? We're doing it. We're doing the thing, baby. We're doing it. It was so much fun.
So let's introduce that song.
So let's introduce it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Fred Lynch, way back old school relic from the past, introducing to you a current affair. Here it is. Check it out.
explicitly is out to be everybody.
Tell with oral, especially with sassy sample, sonic basing, booming beats, drum machine.
Fashion well,
got
to keep your mind clean.
Because it seems like such a terrible thing to dream. Our pipe dream and watch it vanish like steam. It's like before your eyes, the size of a prize begins to mesmerize, supersize. Never endeavor just to sit clever and realize. In the end, you have so many whys. No, because it's like, bro, could you ever find the pieces to the puzzle?
The answers to the question.
The puzzle to the pieces.
Listen to our suggestions.
Discussing we are preachers.
Imperfect but impressing.
Seekers find a teacher and leave out all the guessing. So, give a reception to this rhythmic lesson. Message don't you be missing. Caught this tempting session. So
when you say you love me, it doesn't matter.
We just met. We can't do that yet.
When you say you love me, it doesn't matter.
We just met. We can't do that yet. Delirious but serious to think that while you're hearing this number, hundreds and hundreds of other people are wondering and blundering. What will the next day bring? Living from day to day, they can't sing like you or me, or be free from an STD.
You got cake, now you reign stupid game.
Next time you'll think.
It's too late for that statement. Waiting in the clinic when your case went out the window.
I'm sorry, you've got AIDS.
No more good to go. Now you're potent, more deadly than a Uzi. You abuse, you woozy. Friends and neighbors going ooey, ooey.
Your tip, it ain't groovy. Second on the list is this girl that gets dissed up, fell affronted by love, but he was only a scrub. Gave a little hug and he slipped a little kiss to bust a move on his only wish. He was a VETERAN. That means way back when is where he began.
She was a VIRGIN.
He broke out
after he broke her in. Now she's howling
and growling,
cause she's been dogged, hearing sounds like down the school hall.
He co-perpetrated, you're impregnated. You know what? I think you should have waited.
Sex is like wine that lightens the mind, but done before time. It's like eating the rind of a lemon. Men and women, you see the trees, but not the forest. Kick in the chorus, please.
When you say you love me, it doesn't matter.
We just met. We can't do that yet.
When you say you love me, it doesn't matter.
We just met. We can't do that yet.
When you say you love me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because a parable is durable, it should have a lurable tendency.
Now you can see
just what we do into this thing that we spell
M-U-S-I-C.
What does it mean to me? M-U-S-I-C we see was never meant to be M-I-C-K-E-Y
M-O-U-S-E.
You need to be like Coke
and have originality.
Go beyond the malady and praise it immortality. For in reality, this industry's a gallery. Today's display, we say it's too much immorality in art.
The hardest part
is when you start
to pull a picture from the heart.
This can't be taught or read upon in a how to or how to be. Cause you don't know,
like I know
what he's done for me, who's done for me, God's done for we. Blind ones, but now we see. That's why this melody explicitly is out to be.
Kick that back.
All the music you hear on Frontline Rewind episodes is available on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and our own website, frontlinerecords.us.
So that was one of our first opening songs when we did, and that was fun to do. One of the things that we wanted to do, and we drew a lot of fire because of it, but we always wanted to be like current. We wanted to talk about real things that were happening. I was raised and I was discipled by my uncle who led me to Christ. He's my great uncle. He's about 40 years older than me. And he would always tell me, have a Bible in one hand and a newspaper in the other, so you can know how to reconcile the two. So you can take the scripture and talk to culture where culture's at.
That's wisdom.
Yeah. And so that was always our deal. So we would do things. We'd rap about racism. We'd rap about STDs. We'd rap about being a young black man trying to come up, in the world and what that's all about, and the hard times of what those are the type of issues that we would want to rap about. We drew fire from it, but we wanted to, at the same time, we wanted to be relevant. I guess that's the real word. So one of the funniest stupid stories talking about coming up and learning. So we do Current Affair, and Josh McDowell he signs a deal with Petra, and it was originally going to be Petra, P.I.D, and Josh McDowell. And so we were going to try, and that was our meal ticket. Okay, all we had to do is just get that right. We would have been all right. Okay, let me tell you what happened. What had happened was
that would have sold more records.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah,
that tour would have sold more records.
So we did the first date. We did our first date with Josh. It was at the Arco Arena, where the Sacramento Kings played. Before the Sacramento Kings ever played, it was right when the arena was built. So it was the brand new arena. We did an opening show, Petra, P.I.D, and Josh McDowell, the speaker. So we get there, and when we get there, just talking about just kids, hood rats. Okay, as I was saying, and I'm not saying that in any bad way. Let me talk to you about culture. Just young men trying to come up. I remember we drove a van from Texas to California. We rented a van because we thought, man, we're not going to pay any tickets, because we had a certain price that we put and said, this is what we'll do it for. And we way overpriced it. And we didn't know it. Now, we way overpriced it because we were like, man, we're about to get paid. So we want about, so and $1,000, multiple $1,000. And the Josh McDowell ministry was like, well, this is a ministry of so much. Well, I know that, Whiteheart gets such and such and this, so and so. So what we gonna do? So we're vibing for that whole thing. Foot not even in the door fully yet. So they agreed to it, but they agreed to say, and we didn't know behind the scenes. I found out later on. They said, well, let's just watch these guys and watch this group. If it works, then we'll negotiate with them. So instead of getting plane tickets, we rent a van. We drive the van all the way out. And when it's time to get ready to go on stage, I remember being at the foot of the stage at the steps, and they introduce us, P.I.D. And my two other members were driving, because this was an arena. So you can drive the van inside the arena. So they were driving the van backstage inside the arena, talking about, boy, we about to kill this show. Not realizing it was time for them to get on stage. Now, understanding also, let me bring in a little extra cultural background and element. White evangelical programs, okay, versus what we were used to, kind of black church. Okay, where it's a whole concept and it leans heavy on spirit-led, and you just flow, and when it's time, y'all get up and pray for me, and and you take your time, and then you kind of ease into it, and boom, you're jamming. BPT or CPT is colored people time. Okay, that's what you talk about. And this is what's amazing about it. Just about all over the world, you go to India, you go to Africa, you go to China, you go to so many places, so many other cultures. It's not necessarily about the time. It's about the moment. And they will just kind of hang around till the moment happens. Some cultures, it's about time. And it's like, okay, the moment it needs to happen within this particular schedule. So that particular, that culture was the culture at that moment and at that time in white evangelical. So we had Petra on for this amount of time. P.I.D. is going to be for this amount of time. So they say, P.I.D., I'm getting ready to run on stage. I look back at my boys. They in the van driving, talking about, oh, we about to kill this show. I was like, guys, they're calling us now. So they jump out of the van. We all run and we take the stage. One of my members grabs a microphone stand and grabs the stand. And I mean, this was how we rocked shows back in the day. We would attack the stage. Yeah. So he's not knowing it was just part of him. He grabs the microphone stand and throws the microphone stand. When he throws the microphone stand, he didn't know it, but he threw the microphone stand right into the guy who was the director for the entire event. Like, hit him. And let me get a little bit more. Let me just give you a little bit more paint, a little bit more context.
Oh.
This particular member, growing up, how we grew up in the hood, he didn't smile. And it wasn't natural for him to smile. And especially around white folks. He more or less like, I don't trust you, especially you're a white male. I do not trust you. I found out, like, can I give you some real tea? Okay.
Yeah.
I found out later on, I might get in trouble for this.
Bring it.
Come on.
I found out later on, this member would carry a gun with us on our tours. And I was like, dude, you carrying a gun?
And you throw mic stands at white guys?
We're ministers to the church folks. We're in churches rocking. But where he came from,
Yeah.
that you just, if you're going, you traveling all over, you got money, you need to have your peace.
Yeah.
So that was him. That was him. And I was still
passes
trying
all
to disciple.
understanding?
Yeah, I was trying to disciple him. And so I didn't know about the gun till way later on down the line. But so he kind of had this, what we call the ice grill, what we call that smirk, that swagger. The whole concept of the word swagger came, from way back in the 60s. Soul on Ice, Cleaver, Eldridge Cleaver, the whole idea of my sense of cool, my sense of self, my sense of self-worth has to be protected. This man held that very well. And it often came off as a threat. And so while we were in this environment, we didn't realize that these white evangelicals were watching us the whole time. And all they picked up was that we're very hostile. We're hard to work with. We want to do our own thing. And so when we get up and it's late and my man throws the microphone at him, the director of the entire show, our first song, the kids are going crazy because it's hip hop. It's rap. This was the 80s.
Yeah.
It was mostly rock, and now it's a Christian rock. So the kids are going nuts. We're going nuts on stage. But the director was doing the cut it sign with his throat, saying, get them off stage. Because he's thinking this is going to be a disaster if we try to go on tour. There's going to be a fight or something like that. So he's like, get them off stage. Now, show you what we didn't realize. We do the first song, kids are screaming. We're like, all right, let's get our set. And all of a sudden we look down and somebody says, wrap it up, wrap it up. This is what we thought. Can I tell you what we thought?
Here we go.
We thought, we just murdered it. Oh my gosh. That was so amazing. All we had to do is one song. This is what we thought. And didn't realize that we got blackballed right there.
So what was the first song that you guys played at the arena?
The first song that we did was a song that was about Daniel and about King Nebuchadnezzar and all of that. And the whole idea of it was called Don't Bow. And Don't Bow was about don't give in to peer pressure. So it's for kids, talking about don't bow down to the pressures of this world. Mm-hmm. And so it was King Nebi was Nebuchadnezzar. Uh-huh. King Nebi had a dream about a gold-haired man, and it goes on in this story about how Daniel and how the three Hebrew boys, they decided Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, was told about, but they said no, and so we do all that whole story. So, guys, this is the song that we did, and we felt like we rocked it so hard that we just shut down the night.
In one song.
We Beyonce'd the arena with one song. Here it is, y'all. Don't bow.
We are P.I.D. and here to stay. So listen very close. Do what we say. Don't bow. Don't bow. Here's our story. See, King Nebi had a dream about a golden man. He had a face like me with a mic in his hand. Nebi wasn't very smart, he didn't understand. So we sent across town for D, his main man. So Daniel got the message and came to the castle. He said, tell me what's up, I don't want no hassle. When Nebi said I had a dream, he said, what's up with that? I think another day he's just an overaged brat. Don't bow. Don't bow. Never said I am king. Don't be dissing me, boy. Oh, I throw you to my lions just for a plate tour. Now back to you're the reason that you came here, cuz. Come on, describe the stature, you can give me your butt, friend. He was gold, yo, that's what I'm told. He was silver, shines even when it gets old. He was brass, not material of the past. He was steel, bowing down, here is the deal. He was clay, just do what we say, yo, Fred. What? Yo, Fred. What? Yo, Fred. What? I think it's time to pray. Don't bow. Don't bow. Now there were these three brothers, cold chillin' the show. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. One say, what up with that king? One say he's doing his thing. I think the kid is real whack because he's flirting fake ring. The king was acting real stupid, and they say he oughta quit it. He said, bow to my stack. Homeboy, forget it, don't bow. Don't bow. Now those same three brothers that we thought were Jews, we came to find out they had nothing to lose. They were chilling down the way with the caddy on cruise. Turn on the radio just to hear the bad news. Never cry, beat your back about 90 degrees. I want you on your face, your hands, your knees. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego caught in a fiery furnace because they did say no. The king threw him in, he didn't understand. He checked in 3, but he saw a 4th man. He looked a little closer, thought to wipe his face. It was JC and our boys just rocking to our bass, so don't bow. Don't bow. Yes, we are P.I.D. running for the prize. Don't look upon us to idolize. Now if you're in a fire burning and it's hot in the place, just get up by doing this jam and put a smile on your face, but don't bow.
Show you kind of the providence of God. Maybe 10 years later, let me give you a little bit more context to color the picture better. So we did P.I.D. That particular member, I had to kind of pull him to a place of discipline, and eventually he is my dear friend, but I had to let him go out of the group because there was too much hostility, and all of that would constantly crop up, and we would have the pattern of that. Yeah. And the particular word that got on us was that we were too hard to work with, and so on and so forth, and all of this. So I ended up letting him go. But once I let him go, we survived for the next 8 years as a group. We did 5 albums all together and the whole deal. So it was about 15 years later, actually. So I did my P.I.D. run, and after the P.I.D. run, I disbanded the group and I went solo. When I went solo, I ran back into Josh McDowell, and Josh asked me to go on tour with him, and I traveled with him for 10 years. Now, one day we were at an arena in Colorado, in Columbus, Ohio, and the director of his tours was standing next to me. It was about to happen. We're about to do this show. 8,000 kids are outside waiting to come in. So now the blessing, to show you how God providence. So I solo, and I'm doing shows for 10,000 kids just as the host for Josh McDowell's event. So I still get to do hip hop as well as I get to develop my speaking ability and to speak, because that was where God was eventually taking me. Mm-hmm. But I'm standing before the show starts, 8,000 kids waiting to come in, and I'm standing next to the guy that blackballed us 15 years ago. And so I'm thinking, and I asked his name, and let's just call him John. His name's not John, but I said, John, do you remember the first day that we met in the first concert we did? And he looked at me and said, "Oh, Harley, wait. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you guys were at the Arco Arena when we first met." I said, "Yeah, do you remember the first show we did?" He said, "Oh, Harley, yeah." Like, it wasn't a thing in his mind. And I kind of asked him, I said, "Do you remember what happened when the guy threw the microphone on the stage?" He said, "Yeah, I remember that. Oh, my gosh, I thought you guys were crazy. I just told him, take you off stage and just, I'll never work with y'all again." And it was like that for him. I wanted to say, you ruined my life for 15 years because of one simple decision that you made. But in truth, he didn't, because it was an opportunity for me to grow. As an opportunity for me to understand different cultures and understand where I come from, and understand how to value my culture, but know how to cross over into other cultures. Yeah. Understand the idea of incarnation, what it's about, and understand a bigger thing that's at hand regardless of whoever's culture. What is God wanting to do with the kingdom,
Yeah.
and the purpose of the kingdom? All of those lessons like came at that moment there in Columbus, Ohio, as we were getting ready to rock for 8,000 kids. I was like, wow, just interesting just how things kind of go in cycles and circles. And so I'm grateful. I've had a blessed career. I'm a grateful kid, no doubt.
This music.
Yeah.
This music. People that did buy this music, they were blessed by this.
Yeah.
You may have changed lives, changed their thought process. Kids got saved from the hood. Hood rats got saved. Right? Tell me about it. Did you have that firsthand experience of leading them?
Yeah, that was one of the things, because we call our group Preachers in Disguise. One of the members of our group, his name is Barry G. He was the kid that was in the youth group. He was the street kid. To me, Barry G was a real MC. I was a preacher trying to learn how to become an MC. I mean, I rapped. I came up on rap. I grew up in rap, but it wasn't necessarily my thing. My thing, I was a Bible nerd. I was into the Bible. Barry was into the streets. And we got together and started discipling, and I started working with him. And out of that, we started Preachers in Disguise. And it was a rhyme that he had. He said, we're running for the prize. Don't look upon us to idolize. We're just Holy Ghost preachers in rap in disguise. And all of a sudden it stuck with Preachers in Rap in Disguise and Preachers in Disguise. And we stuck with that. And went for years. And I remember people coming up to me. To this day, I still have people come up to me. Like, one of the things that they remember, one of my favorite songs from my first album, Here We Are is the name of it. Here we are. In Jesus' name, here we are. That was our whole thing. And we wrote, I did Get You a Bible. My first rhymes that I ever wrote, like I said, Barry was a real MC. He could rap off the top of his head. He could freestyle flow. He had swagger. I had to work at it. And to me, here we are. I did not start to learn how to crush my MC skills to me, in my opinion, maybe by a third album. That I said I stand on my own feet as a real MC, as a person that knows how to move the crowd, because that's what an MC stands for, is someone who can move the crowd. MC. All right. So I know who was it? Mark Twain? Mark Twain said this. He said, it's a poor man who can take a word and only use it one way. That's what rappers do. We take words, we're wordsmiths. Okay, I got one lyric. I said, I'm a wordsmith that's so subversive that when I spit these verses, I'm reversing curses. Okay, that's a wordsmith.
Yeah,
that's what we
awesome.
do. So an MC, I know it's spelled E-M-C-E-E, but an MC is a person that knows how to capital M-C, move crowds. And so it wasn't until my third album that I really knew how to move a crowd. My first couple of lyrics that I started writing was the title, In Jesus' Name, Here We Are. Believe it, I wrote that. Believe it or not, here we are in Jesus' name, and our rhymes are raw. From the throne of grace, right in your face, not too much treble, but plenty of bass.
Never stale, you can tell. Always giving Satan hell. I'm BLH, I'm FDL. On the run, having fun, giving glory to the Son. On our way to heaven, but not until we're done. In His will, you can feel rocking on His holy hill. Together forever and never be ill. Shore, sea to sea, we're making history. In Jesus' name we're P. I-D. Believe it or not, here we are in Jesus' name, and our rhymes are raw. From the throne of grace, right in your face. Not too much trouble, but plenty of bass. We got hardcore rhymes that just don't quit. What catching is better than a Yankees baseball mitt. Hey, we're deafer than death, as live as death could be. Oh well, glory to God. You see, we're P.I.D. The P is for preacher and the I's for in. D is for disguise, we don't live in sin. We're at the song that make the demons flee. In Jesus' name, we're P.I.D. I'm not made of sugar, wasn't made of spice. I'm the righteousness of God in Jesus Christ. So if you wanna be cool, take my advice. Turn your life to God, you'll be chiller than ice. Looking with the natural eye, it may seem strange, but I've been changed, been rearranged. Sin in heaven, now I can reign. I'm cold chilling the show with Jesus Christ, the creator, motivator of abundant life. So if you really wanna party, wanna steady rock, hearted, listen up to the words of my Lord. Come to steal, kill, and destroy, but I've come that you may have joy. Stop playing with sin because it ain't your toy. Believe on the Father and in His boy. Cause I'm the elevator and the escalator, and without me you won't be a creator. He says I am life, truth, and the way. So listen very close to what I say. I am brave, but my nickname's Manna. I come from heaven, don't call me Santa. I ran from Lebanon to Louisiana, and if you wanna see me, gotta shout Hosanna. Since the days of old, prophets have foretold, my grace, my truth to you shall unfold. Whether you like it or not, here's what I got. I come to set you free because my house ain't hot. Time is winding up like a thread on a spool. You see, as a rule, man's a fool. And when it's hot, he says he wants it cool. But when it's cool, he says he wants it hot. Always wants something that he ain't got. Oh, he's the king of kings and he calls the shots. Gospel devastating rhymes that we possess. Holy, rough, righteous, tough, Jesus is the best. Killing devils, stopping rebels, better than the rest. Pistol, paper, cloud breaker, he can pass your test. This is why John cried in the wilderness. My God is a life creator, a saint motivator, a mind regulator, Satan's devastator, a problem calculator, he's a gift operator. Go anti-sin and don't wait till later. Communicator, your liberator, adjudicator. We'll catch you later.
At frontlinerecords.us, we have all kinds of goodies. Artist bios, links to all the music, and a free music offering when you sign up for the newsletter. Check it out, frontlinerecords.us.
When the song Get You a Bible came to me, it just came like that. And in fact, let me go on and give you the tea on it, okay? Let me give you the background. At that time, there were only a few MC rappers that were out. DC Talk had come out. And they did maybe they did a song that like a LP. It wasn't even a full-fledged album. Mm-hmm. And I remember bringing DC Talk's album into my man Barry, and we would practice at the church. And I was like, man, somebody's already out. And Barry listened to it. And just with his whole street swagger and vernacular, he said, that ain't rap. Now, Toby, Michael, all of those guys, Kevin, they are friends now. Okay, we got love for each other. But at that time, he was like, that ain't hip hop. You know, that ain't rap. No, they ain't out yet. And who was out beside DC Talk was Stephen Wiley and Michael Peace. And then some group called the Raptures, if y'all go way back. And these were some studio heads that just tried to put out rap, and it was like an abomination. It was not rap at all, and they know it wasn't. So our whole deal was somebody's got to represent the street and where rap really is. Stephen Wiley did a great job. Michael Peace did probably, in my opinion, the best. To me, Michael Peace is the Curtis Blow of Christian rap. He brought it up. He brought it into the face for people could see and know and understand. Our deal was that we were just younger. We were more connected to what was happening modern day then. And so we were just we were going to represent our era. That was our deal. But Stephen Wiley, he was a preacher out of Oklahoma. And he did this rap called A Bible Break. For goodness sake, we're going to take a Bible break. And we heard that. And then our 19, 18-year-old, we was like, that ain't rap. You know, those same thing. We were just so much. And what's so funny to me about what hip hop is about is hip hop is really the language of coming of age. If you like, it's the wonder years in street terms. Okay, if you remember the show The Wonder Years and all that represented, you know, and put that in street and put that in what's happening in the hood, that is what rap is about. You know, and so it's all about understanding, you know, being a man and understanding, you know, braggadocious and, you know, all those type of things. So much that fueled us was what is whack and how we're going to prove that we can be better than that. So when Stephen Wiley's Bible Break came out, we was like, oh, no, we got to go on and house that. We got to break. No, we got to do better than that. And so I started writing Get You a Bible. And Get You a Bible just came because it's the scripture, you know. So, and it was one of the first songs that ever just came to me. I'm a firm believer as artists that we are conduits of the muse. You know, the word muse means to think, you know, and the muse also from the Greeks comes from this idea of the genius or the spirit. So when we are music, we are in a state of what the genius of the spirit is giving.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that music is in the air, and some of the greatest songs really are just translations of a greater reality. Okay, and so you know how some songs are transcendent and they just take you to heaven. To me, it's the music is often what is thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Music is the translation of that. All right, and so it flows through you. Get You a Bible was one of the first songs that just flowed through me.
I want to hear this.
Okay.
Get You a Bible.
Get You a Bible.
Here it
is. Folks. Right here you have it. Get You a Bible.
We're two deaf brothers and feeling real good. We're gonna rock the microphone just like you knew we would. B-I-B-L-E, all the letters for all of you out there that all forgetters. Get you a Bible.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Get you a Bible. The letters are B-I-B-L-E. All the letters for all of you out there that all forget us. Get you a Bible. Now the first book inside is Genesis. Yo, Exodus in Numbers 2. Leviticus. In Deuteronomy for you. My homeboy Joshua. And Judges, don't you leave out rules. See, we got kings and Zion. Better than strawberry jam. Chronicles. The best book of its time. Now that's Ezra. The best man of his kind. You see a Nehemiah. Scope out this here rhyme. My girls Esther and Joe. Yo, in his big purple robe. Hymns and songs. The theme book of our praise. Plenty of proverbs. Always before all of your days. Preachers and lovers. Oh yeah, we're on the one. Ecclesiastes. A song of solid month. Isaiah, Jeremiah. Pointing to Messiah. Lamentation was written by a crier. Daniel and Ezekiel pulling souls from the fire. Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah. Now look at Jonah, Micah, Nahum, that makes 3. Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Zechariah, you see. Haggai, Malachi, and that's no lie. At the end of the Old T, the rhymes don't die. Get you a Bible. It's just a little black book. Get you a Bible. B-I-B-L-E. All the letters for all of you out there that all forget us. Get you a Bible. Now look at Matthew, Mark, Dr. Luke, and John. Acts, Romans, and 1, 2 Corinthians. There's Galatians, Ephesians, and Philippians. We got Colossians and Thessalonians. Little Timmy, your Titus, Philemon, Hebrew. The book of James got 1, but Peter's got 2. Whole John's got 3. Yo, and the next is Jude. And it's just a little bitty book that you can't exclude. To end it up with Revelation, and we're proud to say that there's a rapture. And we'll be caught away. 66 books and oh so fresh. net. 100 proof jam, and it's not a scam. Non-stick, not a lick, it's just the blood of the lamb. Always and forever, he'll be the same. Just a reckon in his word, above his precious name. So deaf that your mind can't even conceive it. You don't have to, just gotta believe it. Get you a Bible. That was it.
All right, well, that's it for the end of the first series.
Les, this has
with
been
P.I.D.
fun. This has been so much fun just to be able to go back and reminisce, man. It's been good with you. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, you are just a special guy.
Well, thank
Special
you.
man.
Thank you.
And I was just so impressed by your heart for God.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Great time.
No doubt.
Fly,